opinions expressed on the following paid commercial program are those of the host and guests and do not represent the opinion of KMBZ or Entercom Kansas City.
Your furnace blows cold air, and your air conditioner doesn't. The water seems to go everywhere you don't want it to, and your kitchen and bath haven't been remodeled since the 50s. Well, welcome to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Kansas City has depended on Dick Ray and Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling to solve heating, cooling, plumbing, and remodeling problems for over 50 years. All you need to do is call 576-7798. And now the Master Plumber with a degree in mechanical engineering is here to help. Here's the potentate of pipes, the Earl of Electricity, the Emperor of Air, the Imperial Poobah of Plumbing, the Grand Toileteer, the Master Plumber, Dick Ray.
And good morning. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. That would be me. And I'm here every Sunday from 11 to noon. And we talk on this show. Well, it's the Home Improvement Hour, so that pretty much tells you what we talk about. Talk about, problems around your house that you might be having. Actually, what I do for a living is go into people's home on a daily basis, and I fix things that are broken. Pretty much describes what I do. And that could be plumbing related items or problem with your furnace or air conditioner or heat pump. I also do a lot of kitchen and bath remodeling on a daily basis. And so we talk about those kinds of things on this show. And I guess number one, if you've got a problem that you're thinking, I think maybe I could take care of this myself if I just had a little bit of information about the subject. Well, in other words, you're a do-it-yourselfer. Well, if you're a do-it-yourselfer and would like to get information about a problem that you see at your house that you think that you might be able to fix yourself, I'm glad to give out information that I've learned over many, many years in this business and to help you make the decision. Do I tackle it myself or do I call Dick or somebody like Dick to come out to my house and fix it? So we give out a lot of advice to do-it-yourselfers. Another thing we do is talk about new things that are coming down the pike that you might want to incorporate in your home. If you live in an older home, you're aware of the fact that a lot of things have changed since your home was built, and maybe these are things that you want to incorporate in your home when the time comes. And of course, heating and air conditioning, that's one of the obvious things. When your house was built, most people, well, I don't know. It depends on who builds your house. If you buy a house that was a spec house from a builder, it may not have great heating and cooling equipment in it. And so that might be one thing that prompts you to buy new equipment, to get better equipment that's more efficient and uses less electricity, less gas. Plus, another thing about that business is even if you bought what was the most efficient air conditioner that was available at the time when you built your house 15 years ago, hey, efficiencies have gone way up. And actually, higher efficiency equipment, a lot of it was available back then 15 years ago, but the price tag was really high. And now what was high efficiency back then is pretty much standard efficiency now, and the prices have come down, and there are efficiency levels available that are even higher that you might want to consider. So anyway, we talk about stuff like that. And anyway, that's what the show's all about. We're here every Sunday trying to give you information. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines too. Kind of a dreary day out there today, foggy. And you're not going to, and it's a little bit nippy. You're not going to go outside and work in the garden today, I don't think. So today's a good day to think about improvements to your house. And that's what we're all about, talking about stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and open the phone lines up right now. If you'd like to get in, if you have a question about a do-it-yourself project or some funny noise that your furnace is making or a drip from your faucet that you wanted to ask about. Anyway, whatever you want to ask about, we're going to get to the phones a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines because later on in the show it's usually difficult to get an open line, but right now every single line is open. If you call right now and can sit on hold for just a little bit. We'll get to your calls. The number, if you'd like to call us now, is 576-7798. Again, all the lines are open right now, so why don't you grab a line and you're guaranteed to get in on the first part of the show. 576-7798. I picked a topic today that I think that you're going to find interesting. Anybody would find interesting, I think. And, you know, a big part of my day-to-day business this time of year, of course, is working on furnaces and heat pumps. When the furnace or heat pump quits heating your house, I come out and find out what the problem is and fix it. And a lot of people also have me out to do routine maintenance on their equipment or to check their furnace, especially older furnaces, to make sure that they're safe and to make sure that the furnace isn't putting fumes or carbon monoxide into their homes. That's a big consideration, especially as a furnace gets older. Anyway, all of that stuff is big business for me this time of the year because we're in our heating season. Well, sooner or later, and this usually is when the furnace is about 15 years old, you're going to have to replace your furnace with a new one sooner or later. And one of the good things about that is that the new furnace you buy probably is going to be more efficient than the old one was. More efficient. Well, what does that mean exactly? A lot of misunderstanding about what efficiency really means. And one thing it doesn't mean is that it heats your house better. That isn't really the strict definition of the term efficiency. Well, what efficient means is that it's going to heat your house just as well as the old inefficient furnace, but your utility bills will be lower because it's going to use less gas and less electricity. And you're saying, less electricity? How can it use less electricity? It's a gas furnace. Well, let me explain all of the different ways your furnace can heat your house more efficiently, lowering your utility bills. And this is going to surprise you because there are more things than you might know about. Now, the obvious way that your furnace can heat your house for less dollars has to do with how much heat is wasted up the chimney. The less heat that's wasted up the chimney, the cheaper your gas bills will be. That's obvious, and that's the thing I think that everybody thinks about first when they think about efficiency. You know, there are still a lot of furnaces out there that waste about 1/3 of the heat in the gas in the gas consumed right up the chimney. In other words, if the old inefficient furnace burns gas that contains, let's say, 100,000 BTUs of heat, 1/3 of that 100,000 BTUs, or about 33,000 BTUs, goes right up the chimney and is wasted. And, of course, that only leaves 67,000 BTUs out of the 100,000 to heat your home. 1/3 waste. Wow. Now, some really older furnaces actually waste more than 1/3 of the heat up the chimney. Some of them waste half, and a few probably, some of the old gravity furnaces probably waste more than half of the heat up the chimney. But now let's get rid of that old inefficient furnace and let's put in a new one, and let's say the new one's 95% efficient rather than 67% efficient like the old one. Well, a 95% efficient furnace wastes only 5,000 BTUs of heat up the chimney out of that 100,000 BTUs available, and that leaves 95,000 BTUs to heat your home rather than the 67,000 BTUs that the old furnace put into your home. So, with the which furnace is going to give you a lower gas bill? Well, that's not too hard to figure out. You buy 100,000 BTUs of gas with either furnace. In a 95% efficient furnace, 95,000 BTUs heats your home with only 5,000 BTUs wasted up the chimney. With a 67% efficient furnace, only 67,000 BTUs out of that 100,000 goes into your house, and the other 33,000 BTUs are wasted right up the chimney. In other words, you can burn a lot less gas with a high-efficiency furnace and get the same amount of heat out of it. So how much less gas will you use with the high-efficiency furnace? Well, in the example we've been using, you're going to buy about 29% less gas with the new 95% efficient furnace compared to the old one that was 67% efficient. And, you know, those results are fairly typical of new furnaces that I install. Generally, you're going to save about 30% or a third of your gas bill because of installing the new furnace. And it's a shocker to people when they get their gas bills. We'll go out the next year or two, and people, I mean, we get lied to so much by commercials that we really don't believe what the commercials tell us. And people are really surprised that, hey, that new furnace really did cut my gas bills a lot. Well, anyway, that's easy enough to understand. But what about cheaper electric bills with the new furnace? How does that come about? Well, I'll tell you how. Not only is the gas-consuming part of the furnace more efficient, the motor in the furnace may be more efficient as well, or at least it is in the Lennox furnace that I sell and install about 90% of the time. Up until a few years ago, furnace motors over the last 40 years plus have been pretty much of a type called a permanent split capacitor type, or just PSC for short. And they work okay, but with new furnaces, you have the option of getting one with a different type of motor called an ECM motor. Well, this new type of motor doesn't cost much more than the PSC motor, and it has a wonderful benefit that it's not only is it quieter, it also uses less electricity, about 45% less electricity than the old PSC motors. So not only do you save money on gas with a higher efficiency furnace, you also save on electricity used by the furnace fan if you get the right furnace. And that part of the savings, that goes on all year long, saving you electricity not only in the winter for furnace operation, but also all summer long when the air conditioner is on. So that's all good. Two ways to save on utility bills with a high-efficiency furnace. But that's not all. New high-efficiency furnaces can save you money on your gas bills in another way, too. This is a more subtle way that you probably wouldn't even think about. And anyway, here's how that works. When gas is burned in a furnace, it naturally needs oxygen for combustion. And most older furnaces get that oxygen for combustion from the air in your home, and it's air that's right around your furnace. So most older furnaces are constantly taking air from your home. They mix it with the gas in your furnace, burn the gas, and then the mixture is exhaust as burnt fumes up the chimney. Well, here's the problem. When your furnace takes air from your home and uses it for combustion air, which ends up exiting the house through the chimney of the furnace, that air's got to be replaced in your home. As air is removed from inside your home, it creates a very slight vacuum inside your house, and that vacuum tends to pull air from outdoors into your house through all the little bitty cracks around windows and doors and gaps that are just present in any home, in any normal home construction. No house is perfectly tight. If it was, we'd go in there at night and we'd run out of oxygen and we'd suffocate in our sleep. That doesn't happen. So anyway, you got the picture. Your old furnace is constantly taking nice warm air from inside your house, and this is air that you paid to heat, and it's exhausting that nice warm air up the chimney, and then it's sucking cold outside air into your house from the outdoors. And of course, you're going to have to pay to heat that cold air up so your house will be comfortable. So you're probably thinking now, well, I understand all that, but how is a high-efficiency furnace going to cure the problem? I mean, it still burns gas and it still needs air for combustion. Yeah, it does. But most high-efficiency furnaces have provisions to pipe that combustion air to the furnace's sealed combustion chamber directly from the outdoors, not from inside the house. In other words, most high-efficiency furnaces can be installed in such a way that they pull air for combustion from outdoors, not from inside your house. And that eliminates that little vacuum inside your house that with an older furnace is constantly pulling cold air into your house. So your new high-efficiency furnace can run less, not having to heat that cold outside air that was drawn in with your old furnace. Now, one word of caution on this last item. Although most modern high-efficiency furnaces, they do have the capability to install in such a way that they pull combustion air from outdoors, saving you money. They also can be installed so that they pull combustion air from inside your house, just like your old inefficient gas furnace did. And that, of course, would simplify the installation because the installer doesn't have to run that extra pipe from the furnace to the outdoors. In other words, If the installer installs the furnace so that it burns air from inside your house, it saves the installer of the furnace both time and materials. But at your expense, because an installation like that is going to make your gas bills be higher forever than they would have been if the installer had taken his time and done an installation where outdoor air is piped in for combustion. Now, if I install your furnace, that piping of outside combustion air to your furnace, it's always going to be done. But my technicians tell me that they see a lot of installations where a high-efficiency furnace is installed without being piped for outside combustion air, and that's not good. My business, whether be the furnace and air conditioning side of your business or the plumbing side or the kitchen and bath remodeling side, I mean, it's no different than any other business, and there is always a way for an installer to save money on any job at the customer's expense. And most of the shortcuts that an installer can take to save himself money will not even be noticed by you. You're not an expert on this stuff. The installer is the expert in the business, not you. If the installer wants to cut corners by doing stuff like that, he can generally do it, and you will be none the wiser. So I guess your job as a consumer is to find somebody you can trust to do what's in your best interest, not his. Okay, I'll crawl down off my soapbox. Anyway, that's about it. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. If you have any questions about high-efficiency furnaces or heat pumps or furnaces in general, give me a call. All the lines are lit up now, but when somebody drops off, I'll be glad to answer questions. Or, of course, if you have questions about really anything else, call me. Or if you've got a question about something else mechanical in your home, or if you have a do-it-yourself project you'd like to have a little bit of help with, I'll be glad to talk about that stuff too. Keep in mind, I do the things that we do on this that we talk about on this show, and I do that kind of stuff every day for a living, and that would include fixing and replacing broken air conditioners and furnaces and heat pumps and plumbing repairs, as well as complete kitchen and bath remodeling. So if I can pass on any information to you that'll help, I'm more than glad to do it. All you got to do is pick up the phone when we get somebody to drop off here, 576-7798. So give me a holler when somebody drops off. The number is 576-7798. Going to take a short break, then we'll be right back. This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Low humidity in your home means dry, itchy skin. It also means a dry environment where bacteria and viruses thrive. It means you get sick more often. For over 40 years, I've sold only April Air humidifiers because they're the best, always have been. But now they're even better. A few years ago, April Air invented the first truly automatic humidity control system. With its outdoor temperature sensor and microprocessor, April Air makes all of the adjustments automatically on a daily basis that you used to have to make manually. The result is you can have the right humidity levels that you need for health and comfort without the daily manual adjustments you used to have to make and without over-humidifying your home. April Air, installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. As you get older, you can put off a move to assisted living by making some changes to your home and bathroom. In my large Kohler registered plumbing fixture showroom, I've devoted an entire section to products you may need in your bathroom to avoid having to move to an assisted living facility. I got a jacuzzi brand Whirlpool tub with a door in the side, a wheelchair accessible shower, got showers with seats and hand sprays and grab bars, showers to go where your old bathtub was. We've got taller comfort height toilets, a bidet conversion toilet seats, and all this stuff and more is on display in my showroom. Not to mention good advice from people who've been doing this kind of work for years and are good at it. Kohler fixtures and faucets installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing and Cooling. During our last heavy rains, I got a call from a longtime customer in a panic.
His sump pump had quit, and although he was bailing water by hand, he just couldn't keep up, and the water was getting into the carpet and walls of his beautifully finished basement. I said, "Jim, you really need a good battery backup system." "I know," he said. Well, we replaced his pump and put in a good PHCC Pro Series battery backup system that day, but it was a little late at that point. Lots of water damage already done. You know, I see that a lot. Beautifully finished basement, sump pump, and no backup pumping system installed until the basement gets flooded. If you have a finished basement and no backup pump, you're just crazy. Don't get flooded. And when you get a backup pumping system, get the good one, the PHCC Pro Series 2400, with a microprocessor that finds problems before it's too late. It's the one you want. Call me for the details. PHCC Pro Series pumps installed by Dick Ray, the master plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ.
And we're back. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the master plumber. That's me. I'm here every Sunday from 11 to noon to try and help you out with problems around the house. And we're going to jump on the phones here, and we will start with Stan. Hi, Stan. What can I do for you?
Dick, I've got a Linux Pulse furnace that's about 15 years old.
Okay.
What do you think?
You got an excellent furnace. I actually have two Lennox Pulse furnaces that are still in my office, still operating and still heating my office. And the Pulse has the distinction of being the very first furnace ever that was a truly high efficiency furnace, a condensing furnace that's over 90% efficient. That was the one that started it all. They're good furnaces, and I don't know.
It's running on propane, Dick.
It is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, this advice I'm going to give you applies to any furnace. It doesn't matter whether it's a Lennox Pulse or any kind of furnace. It's a good furnace, but it's 15 years old, and so the thing you got to keep in the back of your mind is that sooner or later it's going to conk out, and you'll have to replace it. Nothing lasts forever, no matter how good it is. And so you can say, hey, it's 15 years old, so I'm going to start putting some money in my budget and just replace it. I don't want to wait till it quits. Murphy's Law says that the furnace is going to quit at the worst possible time, and it'll be the coldest day of the year, and it'll be around the holidays, and all your relatives will be over at your house visiting you. So you be proactive and replace. That's what a lot of people do. Now, you don't have to do that. You can wait till it quits, but then you're put in the unpleasant position of it, quitting on a cold day and you not being able to investigate and make a more careful purchasing decision. If you buy something while the old one's still working, you're not in such a big rush, so you got more time to shop around and check furnaces out. So anyway, that would be my advice to you, John or Stan. And I see that Stan I don't know what happened. He's not on the line anymore. Anyway, we've got to take a break for the news here. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the master plumber. We have got two open lines now. Our number, if you would like to join us, is 576-7798. We'll be right back after the news.
This is Kansas City's news, traffic, and weather station. This is KMBZ, Kansas City.
11:30 in Kansas City from the KMBZ Newsroom. I'm Rob Ladd. Those who knew the gunman involved in Friday's elementary school shooting say Adam Lanza had trouble relating to fellow students and teachers, but that was only part of his problem. A former head of security for the school district and an advisor for the school's technology club says if Lanza had burned himself, he would not have known it or felt it physically. Richard Novia tells the Associated Press that Lanza clearly had what he called some disabilities. North Korea's top leadership is calling the successful launch of a satellite proof that Kim Jong-un has the strength to lead the country 1 year after his father's death. A solemn Kim Jong-un joined top political, government, and military officials Sunday in a national memorial service on the eve of the anniversary of Kim Jong-il's death. Now your forecast from staff meteorologist Sally Russell.
Some big-time changes arriving later Wednesday into Thursday. But in the meantime, we are looking at sunshine today. Our highs in the middle to upper 40s. Clouding up a bit for tonight. We'll drop down into the lower 30s. Now, sunshine with us Monday. A high on Monday near 45. Tuesday, sunshine low to mid-50s. And a few more clouds sneaking our way for Wednesday. A high in the low 50s. Some moisture arriving on Wednesday night. We'll have to keep our eye on it. We could see rain or snow. Temperatures low 30s. And then sunshine 35 Thursday. I'm staff meteorologist Sally Russell, KMBZ Weather.
Right now, 36 degrees at KCI, 38 at your official weather station. I'm Rob Ladd. Stay connected with 98.1 FM KMBZ and KMBZ.com.
This is Dick Ray, the master plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Not many plumbers own a backhoe and dump truck like I do. Means they either don't dig up and repair underground plumbing lines at all, or if they do, they have to hire a subcontractor to do the work. And that means more expense and a slower reaction time. I own my own Case 580 backhoe, so I can react quickly in emergencies without having to hire a subcontractor who's not really a plumber. So if your sewer needs repaired or your underground water line replaced or an underground gas line or fire line needs repaired in a hurry, call me. I specialize in that kind of work. And I have the sewer camera and pipe locators needed to make the job go more quickly and efficiently. Underground Plumbing Repairs by Dick Ray, the master plumber, the best that money can buy.
Today's retirees face multiple challenges, including historically low interest rates and less purchasing power. Have you considered what your biggest risk may be? Hi, this is Sean Akmus with the Investment Advisor Hour and Hadel Financial Advisors. Have you ever heard the saying, I have too much month at the end of my paycheck? Well, consider this. I have too much life at the end of my retirement portfolio. With the last decade taking a toll on retirement portfolios, many investors are on track to run out of money in retirement. And the scariest part, they don't know it. Do you know if your portfolio can sustain your current lifestyle, or will you run short in retirement? Folks, don't leave your retirement to chance. Join us every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. on the Investment Advisor Hour with Hadel Financial on KMBZ, or call us today at 913-825-2626.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Woodbury Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, and registered investment advisor. Hadel Financial Advisors and Woodbury Financial Services, Inc. are not affiliated entities.
This is Dick Ray, the master plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Did you ever wonder how much water you waste every morning as you stand there by the shower with the water running full blast, waiting for the hot water to finally get there so you can take a shower? Well, it's a lot of wasted water. For an average family, 10,000 gallons a year or more, not to mention the aggravation of waiting for what seems like an eternity for the hot water to finally get there. Well, the cure is a system made by Grundfos, a pump down on the water heater and a thermal bypass installed under your lavatory. It's pretty simple, really, and it works. No more wait for hot water, no more wasted water. And it's made by Grundfos, a manufacturer of high-quality pumps for the plumbing industry. Grundfos pumps, installed by Dick Ray, the master plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ. Opinions expressed on the following paid commercial program are those of the host and guests and do not represent the opinion of KMBZ or Entercom, Kansas City.
We're back. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the master plumber, and that's me. We're going to get right back to the phones here. Looks like all the lines are lit up. We're going to start with John all the way up in Topeka. Hi, John. What can I do for you?
Hey, good morning. I was looking at putting a wood-burning stove in the corner of one of my rooms, and I was just wanting to decorate around on the wall and underneath it with a decorative type of stone. I was going to go with that thin stuff that's looks like colored concrete, but it's really thin.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine said, you should go thicker to protect your walls and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, What do you think?
Oh boy, I'll tell you what. What I think is that I mean I agree. I agree with one thing. A big consideration of a wood stove is the radiant heat that's going to radiate back from the stove to the wall. And I know you don't want to get it if the stove's right out in the middle of the room. You don't have to worry about that. But it's usually going to be next to a wall, and so you got to worry about protecting the wall from radiant heat that it could start the wall on fire and burn your house down. And so now you're asking me, is the imitation stone going to be good protection? And I frankly don't know the answer to that. Here's what I would do. I would talk to a person that still sells wood stoves for a living and find a good one, you know. I mean, you don't go down to the home center and just talk to the guy there because he isn't going to know nothing except what the price on it is. But talk to somebody smart, somebody that just sells those stoves for a living and nothing else, and he'll know the answer to that question a lot better than I do. You're smart to think about that. I'm just not the guy that can tell you what materials are appropriate for protecting your wall. I'm sorry I don't have more information for you on that.
All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Appreciate the call. All right, that opens the line. If you'd like to join us, 576-7798. And let's see, we got Bill here. Hi, Bill. What can I do for you?
Good morning. I got a question. I got a question on my humidifier. I've got a bunch of, or not a bunch, but at the bottom of my furnace, it's wet. The basement floor is wet.
Uh-huh.
And the humidifier on the side, I can see where the drain line coming out of the side of the humidifier, there's some moisture there, but not nearly enough to equal the amount that we've got underneath the furnace.
Okay.
Is there? Go ahead.
What brand of humidifier is it for starters?
It's an April Air.
Okay, that's a darn good humidifier. There's a couple of things I would say. Number one, the drain tube on the humidifier, it may be partially blocked or completely blocked, and if so, all the water that should be going down that drain and running over to the floor drain and running down the floor drain might be just overflowing and running down through the furnace. You could pretty much tell if that's the problem or not just by looking at the drain hose going into the floor drain, and if there's water running out of that at a pretty good clip, then that probably isn't the problem. But I suppose there could be a partial obstruction. You could get some water coming out there and the rest of it going through the furnace. But that's the first thing to check. And then another thing to check, and this is something that a lot of people don't know about, but inside, when's the last time you changed the water panel in the humidifier, Bill?
Well, it was just serviced here in the last month.
Okay. Well, okay, then here's a good thing to check. The water panel in an April Air humidifier needs to be installed in the proper orientation. If you look at it and don't know about this, you say, well, shoot, it doesn't matter which side goes to the top, but it absolutely does. The humidifier panel is designed so that water comes into the top, and if it's installed in the right direction, the orientation of the metal strips in the screen draw the water towards the inside of the panel, and it helps keep the water in the panel as air blows through the humidifier. But if the humidifier is installed upside down, then the water is all thrown to the outside, and boy, it'll run water down through the furnace. So it might be as simple as that. Probably one of those things, I would think.
All righty. Can you give me just a Cliff Notes version on how to pop the cover off that April Air?
Is it black or white?
It's a white.
Okay. All righty. Well, then that's good. They're a lot easier to service. On the white ones, golly, you on one side or the other, you just kind of grab a hold of that side of the front panel and gently pull back on it, and it'll pull out of position. And then once you get that front panel snapped off, then the water panel is right there, and it's in a little track. You grab the top of the track, pull it out gently a couple inches, and then the the panel will slide right out of the top of that.
I suppose I need to, or do I need to pull out the furnace line that's going into the side of that panel or the side of the April there before I try to pop that cover?
No, you don't need to. That's the neat thing. You're talking about the 6-inch round pipe. No, you can leave that hooked up on the humidifiers that are white.
Okay.
Pretty easy. If you get in there and you start taking it apart and you run into problems, give me a holler and I'll try to help you. It's really easy to do, though.
Mighty fine. Thank you.
You betcha. All righty. Well, we lost a couple of callers there. That must mean I'm talking too much. And they say, to heck with him. Or they can't wait on the line for some reason. Anyway, we've got a couple of open lines here. We'd love to have you give us a holler. Our number, 576-7798. We got open lines right now. If you weren't able to get in earlier, 576-7798. And let's see, we got Don and Lenexa. Hi, Don. What can I do for you?
Yeah, Dick. I just recently did some, I had to repaint and kind of do some changes in a bathroom down here. And when of course, you had to paint the walls, so I went ahead and took the tank off the toilet.
Yeah.
And, I didn't have this problem before, but then when I reinstalled everything, hooked everything back up and everything, now when I flush it, I've kind of got this kind of a little high-pitched whistling noise right at the start.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And you took the tank off to paint, didn't have the noise, then you put it back together.
Yeah.
Oh, should be an easy problem to fix one way or another. Anytime you get a noise as water's coming into the toilet, it's just got to be something in that. The fluid level control valve, which is the valve in the tank that sets the water level in the tank. As water's going through that valve, it's making a whistling noise now for some reason. It's probably just because when you turn the water back on, a piece of debris got lodged in the valve in just the right position to make that noise. And probably, you can do one of two things. Either take the valve apart and try and clean it out, and then maybe while you got it apart, turn the water on briefly just to flush crud out of the line and out of the valve, put it back together, and that'll probably fix it. Worst possible case would be you would just have to put a new fluid level control valve in the tank, and that's not very tough either.
Yeah, I know. I've done that enough times, so
okay.
Not that expensive. Yeah, that's probably what I'll just wind up doing, just take it back apart and put a new valve in there.
Yeah, that'll be probably easier in the long run.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you, Don. Appreciate it. All right, good calls today. That opens the line. Got two lines open, actually, if you'd like to join us. 576-7798 is our number. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Again, our line, 576-7798. And at this point, here I am again. I say this during every show because, the show's only an hour long, and there's only a certain number of calls we can take, and it's often difficult to get an open line during the show. And with that in mind, I always say this, what I'm giving you is an invitation for you to call me anytime during the week, not just during this show. If you need a little free advice on a project you're working on, you don't need to feel like you're imposing on me. You can call me after 5 o'clock at night. You can call me on Saturday. You can call me on Sunday. I really don't mind, and I'm serious about this. You can call me right after this show if you weren't able to get in, for that matter. In all honesty, a lot of the calls that I do get are from somebody that just wants me to come out and take care of the problem for them. They either don't want to mess around with it, or they don't have the time, or they don't want to give up their leisure time, so they'll call me to do the work. And, of course, I like that because that's how I make my living. But I'm being completely sincere when I say that I absolutely don't mind you calling, even if all you need is a little free advice on some do-it-yourself project that you're working on yourself. And I'm very easy to get in touch with because my normal business phone, it rings straight to my cell phone after normal business hours. So really all you have to do is remember that one number. I'm going to give it to you here so you can jot it down for future reference. Put it in your cell phone under who do you call in an emergency. It's 913-888-0550. If I'm very sincere in this offer, you call me anytime you want to. I give out a lot of free advice and information to a lot of people, and I do it willingly. If I didn't want to do this, I wouldn't give out the number. So absolutely don't hesitate to call me. The number, once more, is 913-888-0550. This morning, and this was, like 5 minutes till 8, and the phone rang, and I should have been out of bed, but I wasn't. I was laying in there in bed knowing I ought to be getting up, and a man called me, and he had a problem, and he was asking me questions. He said, "I didn't wake you up. You're not in bed, are you?" Oh, yeah, I am, but I should have been up. So go ahead and tell me what the problem is. And anyway, he apologized, but you don't need to apologize. I mean, I'm in the service business, and if I'm in the service business and I lose track of the side that my job is to help people out when they have problems, not just when it's convenient for me. Hey, I've lost sight of an important part of my business if I start thinking like that. So anyway, don't you hesitate to call. This man this morning said, "Oh, Dick, I'll call you back, later today or something." No, don't worry about that. And so we finished our conversation and got everything squared away. So anyway, with that, I'm going to shut up. We're going to get back to the phones here, and we will start with Bob, who is in Overland Park. Hi, Bob. What can I do for you?
Hi, Dick. See, about 15 years ago, we built a new condo, and, of course, the requirement is that they can only use 1.6 gallons of water to flush it.
Yeah.
So I upgraded everything, paid a little extra to get colder throughout the house.
Uh-huh.
And it's worked very well for all those years, and
yeah.
all of a sudden everything seems to go wrong. First, the handle linkage that flushes it broke, so I went to get one of those.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that it wasn't filling very fast, so the shutoff valve was pretty much clogged up. They put the cheap ones on there, so I went and got a quarter turn. That took care of that.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't filling right, so I got a new flood filler, Floodmaster, put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem I'm having now is that the flapper won't seal. It seals about 2 out of 3 times it seals. The other time it doesn't.
Yeah.
I bought a number of different flappers. I have the right one in there. It's a 1.6 gallon, but it just doesn't seal. I've even shimmed it up on both sides to try to get it centered, but it just won't seal every time.
Yeah, my advice is, and you can buy, generic flappers at the store. We sell them too in my business. But if you have a toilet like that you just are having trouble, you can't get it to seal properly, get the number off of that's engraved on the inside of the toilet tank, and it's going to start with K, and there'll be probably 4 numbers after that, K3402 or whatever it is, and then get a Kohler flapper that's made specifically for that toilet, and that's probably going to cure the problem. I happen to be a Kohler registered showroom, and so I stock most of those Kohler parts right in my office. Well,
I'm looking at the top right now. I see K84591. I see it right here. Okay,
now it's not going to be on the lid. It's going to be on the tank somewhere.
Well, that's what this is the lid off the tank. Yeah.
Okay. And numbers on the lid off the tank probably is not going to be the right number. Usually the right number is down on the tank itself. But I don't know. I mean, that might be it. Who knows? Usually,
well, it is a K number. But,
okay. Okay. Well, that may be it. But look at the tank, because that's usually where the number is that we want. But anyway, you get that number, and we can figure out what Kohler flapper it's supposed to be. Okay,
well, I had a Corky in there now, which I was supposed to be good, but it doesn't work either. I tried. Okay, I'll come by.
Okay. All righty.
Thanks, Dick. Bye.
You bet. Thanks, Bob. All righty. That opens the line. Actually, I got a couple open lines now. 576-7798. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. And let's see here. We got Ron, who's got a noisy furnace. Hi, Ron. What can I do for you?
Hi, Dick. I have a furnace that's making noise. Actually, it's not the furnace. It seems to be like it's coming from the ductwork. I go down into the furnace, and you don't hear the noise there. As soon as it comes on, like downstairs, you hear a knock, 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 as soon as the furnace comes on. And it's coming somewhere, it seems, from from inside the wall. You can't exactly place where it's coming from. And you don't hear it upstairs. You hear it downstairs alone, like it's some part of the duct. And I'm just wondering what can be done about that.
Now, it goes knock, 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 like 4 times or so, and then it doesn't make the noise after that?
Well, it's a lot more than 4 times. It might be knocking for a minute or, well, I don't know, up to 3-5 minutes. And then afterwards it kind of goes away.
Okay, and it happens right when the furnace first comes on?
Yes.
Hard to say for sure. The one thing that comes to mind, though, is every now and then you'll hear a furnace that makes a kind of a knocking noise like that. And sometimes a furnace heat exchanger will make a ticking noise, or creaking, or whatever you want to call it, and make a noise like that as the heat exchanger is heating up. And then once the heat exchanger... Huh?
It doesn't seem to be. I go down to the furnace and you don't hear the knocking there. It's only kind of upstairs where you hear the knocking.
Yeah, but if the heat exchanger's making this noise, which is what I kind of suspect, you probably wouldn't hear it around the furnace, because the heat exchanger is surrounded by the insulated body of the furnace, and yet the ductwork is just an open passageway to whatever noise is being made. So that part doesn't surprise me. That would be, noises are hard to tell about a lot of times without actually hearing them, but that would be my first guess, if it's a noise that is made right when the furnace first comes on and then it goes away after that. That'd be my first guess at any rate. And if that's what it is, if that's all it is, that's probably nothing to worry about. But I don't know. It might be a good idea to get somebody like me out there to render an opinion on it and tell you whether it is something that you don't have to worry about or not.
Yeah, okay. Approximately how much would it be for somebody to come out there and render an opinion?
Oh, golly. If we're there at your house for less than a half hour, it'd be $150. So,
okay.
Okie doke.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Ron. Okay, that opens the line. Actually got several open lines here. Love to have you join us. All you got to do is pick up the phone, 576-7798. 576-7798. Open lines right now. Let's see. We've got Scott on the line. Hi, Scott. What can I do for you?
Yes. I'm having some problems with a washer drain pipe that I hang the washer drain hose into, and occasionally, and it's very hit and miss, it'll all of a sudden just start spewing water out the top as it's draining the washer tank.
Okay.
And I have, taken time, bought a power snake, and I've snaked the drain, and I'm getting a lot of lint. Should I be putting something on the washer drain hose, or what can I do to help remedy that problem? I've already ruined my floor.
Oh, gosh.
So, I'm going to have to do a lot of repair work based off of this happening, every so often.
Couple of comments. One thing to check for sure is the size of the pipe, the laundry standpipe and the laundry drain, because a washing machine pumps a lot of water out of itself at one time. A washing machine pumps more water into the drain at one time than any other plumbing fixture in the house. A toilet, that's a lot of water, but it's only 1.6 gallons. It's over a very short period of time. Laundry machine is, I don't know how many gallons, but it's a lot. And so it's very important that the pipe be the right size and that it be clean. Now, if you have an 1.5-inch laundry drain, they are notorious for creating exactly what you're describing. And if that's what it is, I don't know. It may be tough to increase the size of the laundry drain if it's under the floor or inside of a wall or something. Now, that being said, a lot of the times it's not the pipe size too. A lot of the times it is just a partial blockage. It's the kind of blockage where it doesn't do it all the time, and so there's a blockage in the pipe, and it's a partial blockage. It takes a certain amount of water, but it starts backing up, and every now and then it overflows. Well, the cure is what you said you've already done, which is run a power cable through the line. Now, here's where you might have gotten in trouble. Number one, you've got to make sure that you run that cable far enough to get all the way through that laundry drain over to its junction with another line. And sometimes that takes, I don't know, our machines have 50 feet of cable on them. That's enough most of the time. If you ran less than that, you may not have put enough cable into the line. And the other thing that is extremely important, just running a cable through that line is not good enough. The cable's going to knock debris loose, but what you want also at the same time, while you're running the cable through that laundry standpipe, you want to have a garden hose running in the standpipe, running full blast, running water at the same time the cable's running. The cable knocks the debris loose from the pipe, and the garden hose water flow keeps the debris from just settling right back where it was before. It washes it away. So long enough cable and water running at the same time probably will cure the problem, but if you have an 1.5-inch drain, keep in mind that it's going to be more troublesome, especially with new laundry machines. New laundry machines, I think they put more powerful pumps in them. They put out more water than the old ones did, or pump at a higher rate of speed.
Now, is there a way to minimize the amount of lint, or is there something I can do to keep that from happening? Because it seems it's not.
Nope, there's nothing you can do about that. That's just a fact of life.
Okay.
Lint plugs up laundry drains, and grease plugs up kitchen sink drains. And if you figure out something to do about that, you and I can patent whatever it is, and we'll become wealthy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's really about the only question I have.
Okay.
So,
very good.
Thanks,
Scott.
Thank you very much.
You betcha. Bye-bye. Okie doke. Let's see here. We got Phil on the line. Hi, Phil. What can I do for you?
Hi. Yeah, I live in a home that's about 7 years old. I have a train furnace. We bought the house about 3 years ago. And when the furnace shuts off, there's a popping and creaking, cracking noise in the ductwork for up to 10 minutes after the furnace shuts off. It sounds like the ductwork expanding and contracting. It's just a really loud noise.
You already figured it out. Why'd you even call?
Is that it?
I think so. That's a noise that you hear. A previous caller, I think maybe that's what he was hearing. He heard the noise when the furnace first came on. Furnaces often will make that kind of noise that you're describing when they're heating up or when they're cooling down. Actually, you can hear it more frequently when it's cooling down because, the blower's on then too, both times. But I'll bet you that's what it is. And if that's what it is, it's nothing really to worry about if that's all it is.
Is there any way that you can fix it or stop it, though? Because it's awful loud, particularly in the bedrooms in the morning when you try to sleep.
Boy, nope. Generally not. Nope. Probably no way to fix that if that's what it is.
Right. Okay.
Okie doke. Appreciate the call. All righty. We're out of time, folks. Bob, if you'll hang on the phone line, I'll get to you off the air. Also, in the meantime, if something comes up that won't wait until next Sunday, you call me anytime. I'm really glad to take your calls anytime during the week. 913-888-0550. We'll see you next Sunday.
This